We'll start with the brainstem. Already you have already brainstem is known to you because it is being described, the gross anatomy, tacticals. Now let me tell you the arteries that will come in relation to the brainstem. This is the vertebral artery branch of the subclavian artery. Their ascends up through this foramen called the foramen magnum, enters into the medulla oblongata and meeting over the junction of pontomedullary junction, it will form an artery called the basilar artery, and then ultimately it will divide into two, that is called the posterior cerebral artery. What are the branches? This is an anterior spinal artery. I already told the anterior spinal artery is formed like this. Then it is the posterior inferior cerebellar arteries that will be given by the vertebral artery, which will give the two posterior cerebral arteries, spinal arteries. Then as soon as it is formed in the pontomedullary junction, the basilar artery will give the branch called anterior inferior cerebellar artery. Then it will give the main branch called the vestibular branch or the labyrinthine branch that will go to the internal ear. Then it will give a branch called the superior cerebellar artery. Ultimate division is called posterior cerebral artery. So cerebellum has got three branches: the posterior inferior cerebellar artery, branch of the vertebral artery; anterior inferior cerebellar artery, branch of the basilar artery; and the superior cerebellar artery, branch of the basilar artery. Spinal cord also having the three branches: anterior spinal artery, branch of the vertebral arteries; posterior spinal artery, two in number, branch from the posterior inferior cerebellar artery. So here the spinal cord three branches. Cerebellum is also having three branches. Now coming to the cerebrum. So this is by the basilar system that is weaving the posterior cerebral artery. Now this is an optic chiasma. Just below the optic chiasma, this is anterior perforated substance, mammillary bodies, posterior perforated substance, and these are the by the side of these optic chiasma. This is your anterior perforated substance, where we will see the internal carotid artery. Internal carotid artery divided into anterior cerebral arteries and the middle cerebral arteries. The anterior cerebral arteries are connected with each other by the anterior communicating artery. The posterior cerebral artery has a communication with the main internal carotid artery or the middle cerebral artery by a branch called posterior communicating branch. So communicating branch are two: anterior communicating branch and the posterior communicating branch. Now the cerebrum is also having three branches: posterior cerebral artery, branch of the basilar artery, and the middle cerebral artery and the anterior cerebral artery, branch of the internal carotid artery. Now why these communicated branches are present in the circle of Willis? Why this is being present? Because this is present, this is called potential anastomosis. Normally there are two types of anastomosis. One is called actual anastomosis, one is called potential anastomosis. Actual anastomosis happens in the stomach. There is a anastomosis between the left gastric, right gastroclepharoid, left gastroclepharoid. So this is actually the blood is flowing in the normal condition. This is called actual anastomosis. Here in the heart and the brain, this is called the potential anastomosis. The channels are there. Normally blood doesn't flow, but if any block is there, then the channels will open up and take the charge of the part which is deprived of its blood circulation. So these are potentially channels are being present over by nature, so that when the need appears, these channels will open up and the establishment of the connection between the basilar artery and the carotid artery system. So this is very important. This is called the circle of Willis, which is in the brain stem, formed by these arteries, that is internal carotid artery, anterior cerebral artery, then the posterior communicating artery and posterior cerebral artery. So this is your blood supply. Coming to the brainstem, let us come to the cranial nerve nuclei which has been present. Now this is when we go to the embryology part of it. This is the central canal of the spinal cord, which is surrounded by posteriorly by the alar plate, anteriorly by the basal plate, and then is separated by the sulcus limites. So this is how the development appears in the spinal cord. When it reaches to the place medulla oblongata, this change will be there with the shifting of this alar plate and basal plate in the floor of the fourth ventricle. So it is medially placed. This is the sulcus limitans, this is the midplane, basal plate and the alar plate. So this is the position on the fourth ventricle, in the floor of the fourth ventricle of the medulla oblongata. So this place will having the nuclei which will regulating the different functions. So let us come to the nuclei which are present. First, starting from the midline, this is a basal plate. This basal plate is meant for motor plate or efferent fiber. Alar plate is meant for sensory fibers. So afferent fibers. There are three efferent fibers. There are four afferent afferent fibers. So first is the general somatic efferent fiber. What are the cranial nerve nuclei? 3, 4, 6 and 12. You see 3, 4, 6 will supply the extraocular muscles and 12 will supply the muscles of the tongue. So they are doing the somatic efferent function. Coming to the special visceral efferent function. What is the special visceral efferent functions? Special efferent functions will do the functions of these are nucleus, that is the nucleus ambiguous, which is having the 7th, 9th and the 10th up to the C5 level. So these are the nucleus which will regulating the nerve fibers, cranial accessory fibers and the accessory nerve fibers, which will be along with the 7th and 9th. They will forming this nucleus, controlling the movement of the neck regions, supplying the muscles of the neck region. Coming to the general visceral efferent. Now they are the glands of the different glands which are present in this head neck region, which are called the salivatory glands, lacrimatory glands and the glands of the GI tract, glands of the respiratory tract, glands of the other parts, visceral glands. So first is superior salivatory nucleus, that is by the 7th cranial nerve, which will go and will control the secretion of submandibular nerve and the sublingual gland. Submandibular and sublingual is controlled by superior salivatory nucleus. It is the inferior salivatory nucleus which will control the main gland, that is a parotid gland. It will have the component from the 9th. So 9th carry the general visceral efferent fiber for glandular secretion via the inferior salivatory nucleus. And the lacrimatic nucleus is also control of the secretion of the lacrimatic gland, that is along with the superior salivatory nucleus via the 7th nerve. And the dorsal nucleus of the vagus, which will control the secretion of the whole GI tract, the respiratory tract and the heart. So this is controlling the general visceral efferent fibers. This is about the efferent fibers. Coming to the afferent fibers, just opposite to the sulcus limitans, you see you have to arrange it. This is general visceral efferent, so here lies the general visceral afferent fibers. General visceral afferent fiber, it is the 5th nerve and the dorsal nucleus of the vagus. Now coming to the that is heat cold sensation of the taste of the fibers, which is carrying by this. Coming to the special visceral afferent, that is the taste sensation. The taste sensation is carried by nucleus tactus solitarius, that is 7th, 9th and 10th. So the 7th, 9th, 10th will form a nucleus called nucleus tactus solitarius, which will carry the special sense from the mouth called the taste sensation. Now coming to the general somatic afferent fiber, the general somatic pain, touch, temperature, the other functions which is corresponding to the two fibers already I told in the ascending tract, the posterior column fibers and the spinothalamic tract in the head neck region being reciprocated by only single nerve, that is 5th cranial nerve. So 5th cranial nerve having the mesencephalic nucleus, which is for proprioception, that is correspond to the posterior column fibers of the whole body. And the next is your these fibers, that is your from the angle of the eye, that is ophthalmic division, from the angle of the mouth to the tragus of the ear, that is a maxillary division, and below that mandibular division. This nucleus will correspond to the just opposite to this. This is the mandibular, this is maxillary, this is ophthalmic. Upside down is happens over here. So these fibers will carry the correspond to the spinothalamic tract, pain, touch, temperature, pressure of the head neck region, face and head neck region, that is being carried by single nerve fiber, that is the 5th cranial nerve. So 5th cranial nerve is correspond to the posterior column fiber for proprioceptive fibers via its mesencephalic nucleus. And the spinothalamic tract, both anterior and lateral spinothalamic tract, carrying the fibers of pain, touch, temperature and pressure, which is corresponding to the 3 nerve division, that is ophthalmic division, maxillary division and the mandibular division of the trigeminal nerve. So this is a general somatic afferent fiber. So these fibers will cross to the trigeminal lemniscus and goes to the thalamus. It is ventro-posteromedial nucleus of thalamus. All over the body fibers, that is posterior column and spinothalamic fibers, will go to ventro-posterolateral nucleus, and the face and the head neck region will go ventro-posteromedial nucleus of the thalamus. And the posterior column is reciprocate to the mesencephalic nucleus, and the spinothalamic will reciprocate to the ophthalmic, maxillary and the mandibular division. So this is the trigeminal nerve, which is doing the whole functions of the face and head neck region, carrying both these general fibers, the external fibers and proprioceptus fibers. Coming to the special somatic afferent fiber, this is the olfactions and the optic fibers. the optic fibers, and the eighth cranial nerve, that is also this is a vestibulocochlear nucleus for the audition fibers, the optic fibers and the olfaction fiber. These are special sensation which belonging to this SSA, special somatic afferent fibers. Now if we put this in the chart format to understand it very clearly for remembering, how we'll see, this is the spinal cord, medulla oblongata, pons and the midbrain, okay. Then this is your basal plate, this is sulcus limites and this is your alar plate. So this is your sulcus limites, so we are separating it by two halves. This is the general somatic efferent. So this is general somatic efferent. In the midbrain, it is the third and the fourth cranial nerve that will controlling the extraocular muscles. Coming to the pons, it is the sixth which will controlling the extraocular muscle. Coming to the medulla oblongata, it is 12 that is controlling the muscles of the tongue. Coming to the special visceral efferent fiber, this is special efferent visceral fibers. 5 is the principal motor nucleus of the fifth, then 7th, 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11 will forming combined together called nucleus ambiguous up to the C5 level. So this will control the special visceral efferent fiber for the movement of the head neck region. Now coming to the general visceral efferent fibers, we will see the functions. It is Edinger-Westphal nucleus for the tear to be formed. This is Edinger-Westphal nucleus, the right reflexes, that is third in the midbrain. Then come to the pons, it is superior salivary nucleus, that is seventh, controlling the submandibular, sublingual and the lacrimatory nucleus. Coming to the medulla, upper part is the inferior salivary nucleus, controlling the secretion of the parotid gland. Coming to the lower part of the medulla oblongata is the dorsal nucleus of the vagus, controlling the secretion of the heart, lung and the whole GI tract. So this is the three part of the basal plate: general somatic efferent, special somatic visceral efferent and general visceral efferent. Coming to the alar plate, which is having the general visceral afferent fiber. General visceral afferent will carried by the dorsal nucleus of the vagus. That is only the heat cold sensation which is being carried by this. Coming to the special visceral afferent, it is in the medulla nucleus tractus solitarius 7, 9 and 10. That is called nucleus tractus solitarius, which will carry the taste sensation. Coming to the general somatic afferent, see over here, it is the mesencephalin nucleus in the midbrain. Then comes to the pons, it is the principal sensory nucleus of the fifth, and this is a spinal tract of the trigeminal nerve which will carry the fibers. So this is having the ophthalmic, maxillary and the mandibular parts of the sensation carried via the face region. So this is a principal up to the C2 level. And come to the special somatic, it is a vestibulocochlear nucleus which has got the cochlear component for audition and the vestibular component for the equilibrium to be maintained in the body. So this is the spinal brainstem, the cranial nerve nucleus. Now let me tell you, we have to make a mnemonic so that you can remember it very clearly. So midbrain, how many letters it is? It is MID. So midbrain is the letter of 3. So 3 cranial nerves come in contact with this. Third, fourth and the fifth mesencephalin nucleus. So 3, 4 and 5. This is in the midbrain. 3, 4 and 5. 5 is called the mesencephalin nucleus of this. Pons is the fourth letter word. P-O-N-S. Pons is the fourth letter word. So we will start from 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8 we will see in the pons. 5, 6, 7, 8 we will see in the pons. So this is in the pons, the main motor nucleus and the principal sensory nucleus in the pons of the fifth, 6th cranial nerve, 7th cranial nerve and then the 8th cranial nerve. So this will be, the nuclei will be in the pons. Coming to the medulla, M-E-D-U-L-L-A-E. So it coming from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So you see how many words are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see? So medulla oblongata is a letter of 8 letters words which will carry the 5th cranial nerve, 6th cranial nerve, 7th cranial nerve, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8 cranial nerve nuclei present in the medulla oblongata. So this is the mnemonics. You have to remember the cranial nerve nuclei present in the brainstem.